Hello and welcome to the Intel Brief. Today is Tuesday, the 7th of April. I'm your host Daniel, and today we're going to talk about Iran has rejected the US's ceasefire proposal. Trump has claimed that the US attempted to send guns into Iranian factions, and Serbian intelligence chief has said Ukraine was not involved in the explosive plot on a Serbian gas pipeline. So firstly, Iran has rejected the latest ceasefire proposal reportedly submitted by regional mediators as it seeks a permanent end to the war, its state media reported on Monday. We won't merely accept a ceasefire proposal, the head of Iranian diplomatic mission in Cairo told the Associated Press. We will only accept an end to the war that guarantees that we won't be attacked again. Tehran conveyed its response to mediators in Pakistan, the official IRNA news agency reported. Its response instead gave 10 clauses, including an end to the conflict in the region, a protocol for safe passage through the Strait of Hormuz, and the lifting of sanctions and reconstruction, the agency reported. So what? Due to this, it's likely that significant strikes will go ahead as planned tonight by the US, likely supported by Israel, and it's unlikely to change anything with the conflict continuing to move ahead. However, it is possible it could lead to the US putting boots on the ground to apply more pressure or try and get regime change. What this will look like and how it will actually come into effect is currently unknown, but it's a possibility that grows ever more possible as time carries on. As the longer this conflict drags out, the worse it kind of looks for Donald Trump. And, he wants this to end very quickly. It's definitely dragged on longer than he had hoped already. It's causing significant economic and political issues for him. And it's almost certain that he wants it done. And next, US President Donald Trump said Washington attempted to arm certain groups in Iran to fight back against the government. Trump made these comments while speaking to reporters at the White House at the Easter event, but provided minimal details. He did not clarify a time frame, including which president. And next, US President Donald Trump said Washington has attempted to arm certain groups in Iran to fight back against the government. Trump made these comments while speaking to reporters at the White House Easter event, but provided minimal details. He didn't clarify a time frame or when the weapons were purportedly transferred. He said to reporters that we sent lots of guns. They were supposed to go to the people so they could fight back against these thugs. You know what happened? The people that sent them kept them. He also added that he's very upset with certain groups of people and that they're going to pay a big price. Trump reiterated that his belief is that the Iranian people would fight back against the Islamic Republic authorities if they could attain firearms. So what? I mean, this is not surprising. This is a pretty common US TTP, fund a group to try and overthrow a government, something they've done numerous times in the past with a range of effects, let's say. But it is a crazy thing for a US president to admit while standing at the White House at an Easter event. It seems likely that someone or some group fucked the US over, likely the CIA, and that they lack the people to do the fighting. So this kind of goes back to something I talked about multiple times, is that in December they had a large-scale protest against the government. While it's possible that the US tried to arm these groups then, it clearly didn't work, and that this led to the deaths of around 30 to 40,000 people. These were likely the much more hardcore and, willing to fight against the regime. They were then eliminated by the regime. So they kind of lack the, human element here to fight back against the regime, which is something that lots of people have highlighted throughout this conflict. It possibly shows the lack of willingness left in the country to overthrow the regime. If there is people trying to smuggle weapons in, it's possibly there's no one for them to go to, and that people don't really want to fight back anymore. They don't really see the path to victory, and that this conflict clearly hasn't helped, which is a bit shit for them. And lastly, Serbia's top military brass said Ukraine was not behind an incident involving explosives near a gas pipeline with Hungary, in a rebuke to the Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban, who heavily implied Kiev was involved. The Serbian president, a close ally of Orban, said on Sunday that authorities found an explosive of devastating power near a gas pipeline transporting Russian gas from the country to its neighbour Hungary, a week before Hungary's general election on April the 12th. Orban said on Sunday that he was convening an emergency council meeting of the National Defence Council and that Serbian authorities had uncovered a sabotage operation. He also said it was likely linked to Ukraine, which he said had been working for years to cut off Europe from Russian energy. So what? It's possible that this was a false flag attack carried out by Hungarian intelligence at the orders of Orban, who wanted to use the situation to try and delay the general election, which he is likely going to lose. However, this appears to have failed. Why Serbia came out and said that Ukraine wasn't involved is currently unclear, but it definitely derailed Orban's plan, even if they didn't actually conduct the operation and that this was just a legitimate sabotage operation conducted by another group. It's almost certain that Hungary and Orban wanted to spin this into some kind of national security incident to delay the elections. But it seems likely the elections will go ahead, and as such, Orban will lose, unless some other type of tomfoolery happens, which is possible, but we'll have to wait and see. And I'll be talking about that next week, no doubt. Anyway, that's been the Intel Brief. I've been your host, Daniel. Make sure you give it a like, a comment, subscribe, turn the bell on, all that good things. See you.